Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with Lindsay Bjorklund, our customer happiness manager. If you are listening on podcast, which is fine, you should check out the video. She's got a little eye makeup. She's got a little lighting. If you're into like poppy, good looking blue eyes, you're in the right place. And it ain't me. There's two of us on here, 50-50. I'll tell you, it ain't me. You could, if I'm your bag, you need to change bags. But if you like cute girls with pretty blue eyes, come join us on YouTube. If not, you'll just have to deal with the sound of our voice. All right. Other than making Lindsay's day, today's secondary goal is to help y'all with your cleaning companies. As we typically do, we just have a Ask Mike Anything. Y'all give some questions on Facebook. I think you email in. I don't know where we get on Instagram, whatever. You give us the questions. Lindsay sorts through the universe, or our little community finds them. So Lindsay, who we got? How can we help?
All right. We got Jessie. Actually, we're going to start with some commercial bidding questions. That's a little theme that started popping up. So Jessie asked, she said, I'm going to quote a new nail and hair salon. I honestly find the bidding process the hardest part about my cleaning business. Do you have any tips or advice? This is my first time bidding in this industry. Should I charge by the square foot?
Yeah, this is a tough one because I don't feel it's really pretty simple. And I know there's a lot of different takes on that, and I'll kind of cover them all. I don't think I've done this before. I've told you how we do it because I'm pretty this is just do our way and I'll be good. But there's a lot of other stuff out there. And I know when I hear competing voices, I'm like, can somebody just give me steel man and straw man, all of it, so I kind of get the pros and cons? So just so you guys know, I'm not with the bidding commission. I've got an agenda, right? I've done this for a long time. So I'll do my best to just give a fair, here's what we would coach you to do, and here's why, and here's what some other people coach you to do, and here's why, and then you can at least make an effective decision, because there's nothing morally wrong or right about bidding the way that we do. Jesus isn't a fan of my bidding thing. It's just how we do it that works. So the square footage one is appealing because it's super easy, right? You take the square footage, you multiply times the thing, wada bang, you got yourself a bid. The reason I'm not a fan is it's more of a big thumb deal because, again, we can kind of get all the way down to the specifics, but the square footage of a warehouse is going to be wildly different than the square footage of an emergency room, right? And you're like, well, no, I look, there's a chart. They have charts for, office space and blah. It's got it. And that's better, right? So you're really going to, open yourself up to get stung if you just take a flat out square footage and apply it to everybody. But if you're a little more sophisticated, no, I've got a square footage based on this. Got it. But that would be I'm looking for a lady. What are you looking for? Well, I go by height and weight. Anyone 5'7" to 5'9", between 110 and 140 pounds or whatever the appropriate weight for a lady is good. And they're like, well, how about married ladies? No, not that. You're like, all right, what about, children? Well, obviously not that. All right, what about the elderly? Well, I'm 51, so maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of getting there. You start laying on layers, and you're like, oh, it's a little more sophisticated than just height and weight. So square footage is pretty much height and weight, right? And then if you throw on oh, no, this is for law offices. All right, now we've got age range and single status. But still, they want the kids. I don't. They want to get married. I don't, or whatever the case may be, right? So we can get, at some point, we're just going to have a philosophy of, these are the kind of core beliefs I'm looking for. And then if those align, everything else kind of goes. So that's what we would coach. The philosophy, the core belief that we would coach you to do when bidding is to arrive at the cost of goods sold that you want, right? So we want your cost to be an appropriate percentage that you pre-decided of the cost of the job. So we coach to 45% cost of goods sold. The math gets a little hard, so we'll go 50, right? So pretty simple. If I think, and if you're doing the cleaning, you shouldn't be, but if you are, you got to figure what it would cost for not you to clean it, right? So if you're like, well, I'm doing the cleaning, how do you? Well, you can still know if I had it, because at some point, ideally, that's the goal is for you not to clean. So let's just say all in after payroll, taxes, workers' compensation, and that's a different conversation. That's more of a payroll conversation. Well, I'm 1099. That's a third conversation. But let's just say, to make it simple, to answer our friend's question, it costs you about $20 to clean, right? $20 an hour is what you got to pay the person that you're using, regardless of 1099, W-2, all that is $20. Make it easy. And say you're going to go there 5 nights a week. I know that won't be the case for a nail salon, but that's the ones we want, by the way, for a commercial. We want those 5-day a weeks. Typically, we're looking for that kind of 3 to 6 hour, not that they couldn't be more, but like 3 to 6 is a nice just ATM of an account, couple $1,000, you just get paid. But we'll just, to make the math easy, say you're going to just go an hour, right? It takes one person 1 hour, two people half, or whatever. It takes an hour. Well, Monday through Friday is 22 days a month. Just so you know, easy peasy. So you go 22 hours a month, 22 times $20 an hour, 440. You're like, this bid is $880, right? Pretty easy math. The reason we do that is because it's an underlying philosophy that works all the time, right? So a lot of people say pretty smart things like, my area is different, right? I'm in New York. How can I price differently than Idaho? Like, well, that is super different, right? And if you're going by square footage, you better, again, that's another layer we haven't thought about. Like, all right, I got the square footage. I got what type of office is it? Okay, what's the flooring? Is it carpets or floors? Because those are different. And what kind of flooring? How many toilets or bathrooms does it have? How many humans are going to be at every month? What kind of, like, oh boy, if we start getting into it, right? But if you can just break it down into your cost of goods sold, it automatically adjusts for the price, right? Because in New York, maybe a cleaner is $25. Maybe in Nebraska, it's $16. That, 42 cents a square foot kind of screw you one side or another, right? Or maybe both. Maybe it'll hit you twice. But when you go by, because again, when we go by based on your pay, I'm assuming pay in your area, and when we go by cost of goods sold, we're good. So, a couple of caveats on that. One of the many reasons we encourage you to do commercial or residential, not both, it's just stuff like this. You're like, I've done residential. Sounds like she's my first one here. Guessing she does residential, she's super comfortable with. Well, we'll do all we can to help coach you, but you're still going to learn all sorts of nasty surprises along the way. So I wouldn't encourage that. Last thing I want to give you, especially in commercial, it's applicable to residential, but just 3x it in commercial. One of my favorite parts about having your cost of goods sold, they're like, that's just what I charge. And by the way, we'd go 45% cost of goods sold, 25% expenses, software and marketing and all that good stuff, and then 30% for the owner. So we think that's a top, that's the top of what most owners make. But if you're going to work with us, you don't want to pay us to help you make less. Let's get you profitable. And all the good stuff comes from profitability. So all that to say, 100% of the time on bidding, you're going to lose some, and they're going to go, you're crazy. Some guy said they do it for half. And there's so much into that. Maybe they're just flat out lying. Maybe they're telling the truth, but it was a different job or a different thing, or like maybe the guy was lying. Maybe there's so many variables. So when we go by square footage, it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, I did maybe it was too much, and maybe you're right. You just don't god dang know. But when you go, this is my margin, this is what's fair. I got this from contracting, but it applies to cleaning. It's better to win a loser than lose a winner, right? Or better to lose a winner than win a loser, right? So it's okay if you quote unquote miss one, because in contracting, the joke is you're like, I didn't get the job, missed it, I was too cheap. Oh boy, I got the job. I think I was too cheap. Or I was too expensive. Yeah, you kind of hold your breath either way. This allows you to go, as long as you're confident in knowing how to estimate how long it takes. And if you're like, how do I do that? That's just kind of a skill thing. And there are spreadsheets you can get that's like, this type of thing takes about this many square feet per hour. And again, experience is the best use of that. We've got a free Facebook group. Jump in there. That's probably the best place. But you can kind of get some of those downloads and at least get an idea of how long things take. Anyway, all that to say, you want to make sure you don't put all of your eggs in any basket, right? I hate when people come to me like, I've got this, I'm doing 20 grand a month. I've got an opportunity to bid a $20,000 or $50,000 a month job. Help me get that job. And it's like, what I'll help you do, sure, we'll help you get the job, but we can't guarantee anything. You don't know. What I'd rather do is help you get a plan to hit your goal, and you're going to hit that goal with or without the job. So we don't want to give our kind of agency or our success to some other human that if we don't get it, everything's shot, right? So I just want to encourage you, when you're bidding, just go all in on, this is my thing. This is what I need. Some will, some won't. So what? If you do your marketing right, someone's waiting. And that's the key. If you've got good marketing, it's not the only bid you're going to have this month. Move on to the next one. So don't beat yourself up when you quote unquote lose a bid. Who knows? Maybe it was a bad bid, or, when they tell you this guy was half, like, good, let that guy do it. So just kind of one of the benefits of having the percentage cost of goods sold is you can have confidence, and you don't have to beat yourself up and do that dance. If I did too much, it's like, I did the best I could. And oh, by the way, if it's a real cheap price, follow up on it in 2 or 3 months after they're miserable with that guy, and more often than not, you get a second swing. All right. I think I beat that horse good and dead. Anything to add, Lindsay, before we move on?
No, I got nothing. That was great, Mike. We're going to move on to Amy. Related question. I'm wanting to get some commercial contracts. What is the best and most effective way to gain those clients? Cold calls, walk in. I've tried emailing so far. It hasn't produced much. Then she adds this, Mike, which I thought was super interesting. Walking into businesses is so intimidating to her.
I love that. Not that it's intimidating to her, just as she's honest, because I'd suppose that 80% of the people feel that way, and very few say it. So let me start by saying it's a relationship business, right? So with residential, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, they all have their strengths and weaknesses, right? I promise you, if residential is the right, and for everybody, because both those questions, I don't know for sure, but they sound like residential people trying to get into commercial. Let me just answer a meta question, and then we'll talk about how to get commercial clients.
Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented, and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge, and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Unless you're doing $1 million or $2 million in residential, when you're like, I have to do 5 or 6 or 10 million, you really, switching is not going to be the answer, right? And again, a lot of people that are just starting off are like, I don't want to only have a little couple $1 million cleaning company, which, I'm not saying they aren't larger than that in residential, but it's tough. Like you can build $1 million, $2 million residential cleaning company in a big enough city, small, if you're in a real small town, you might not even get that far. But boy, oh boy, do you learn so much going from 0 to $1 million. And what you want and what you think about, it all changes, right? So if you just take out the commercial, if you really want a big business, commercial is going to have more opportunity than residential, but that has nothing to do with the 0 to $1 million, right? So if you're doing 10, 20 grand a month and you want to get to 100, and I know you're like, well, but what I get, anyway, the big thing, and I love commercial. We have lots of commercial clients, so I'm not knocking it by any stretch. I'm knocking the thing that really kills residential owners. People do this with software too, for some reason, or marketing. If I just go resident commercial, that's the thing. That's what's holding me back. That'll be that's not holding you back.
The silver bullet.
Yeah, that's just, and again, I just was at an Alex Hormozi event. Really good, by the way. And they talk about, it's not a silver bullet. It's, hundreds of, we all want the silver bullet, and marketers want to sell you a silver bullet, but there isn't a silver bullet. There's 100, golden BBs that you got to put together. So just want to encourage you, commercial's not the answer. Getting the right software, and there's some good software out there, isn't the right answer. They'll, and I'm not even saying commercial will help. Honestly, if you're already doing residential, I can almost guarantee it's going to hurt before it helps. Or if I got an opportunity for a bit, it might help for a little bit if you get a quick little, and then you're working. I promise you, there's just focus, right? Yes, when I decided to marry my beautiful bride, I said effectively no to billions of potential mates because that was it. And it's like, well, look at all I gave up. I'm like, yeah, focus. It's worked for me in life. It'll work for you. I promise it'll work for you. And can't vouch for your love life, but I promise it'll work in it's so funny, actually. Speaking of Lindsay, I was just at this event with 100 entrepreneurs all doing $1 million to probably 50 million in revenue, and all the way up the scale. 59% of the questions, the answer was focus. I'm doing 16 things. I don't want to do this. If I just do this, and I've got a new thing on the thing, and they were a little more eloquent about it, but it was really just shut up and focus on the one goddamn thing. So if you're residential wanting to go to commercial, the answer is almost, just shut up and focus on the goddamn thing. Okay, now enough of my preaching. I'll answer your question. So it's a massive difference on how you market for residential versus commercial. With residential, there can be a technical silver bullet just for one little thing of marketing, right? Like you can do local service ads that can work. You can do referrals that can work. There's lots of stuff that works, and it's a very short sales cycle. So you just do it and wada bang, I got clients. So we go to commercial and we're like, we kind of have that same expectation or hope. Like, I'm just going to walk in and this guy's going to buy something. And we don't even have that hope, but we put a massive amount of pressure on ourselves for the initial contact. It has nothing to do with that, right? Like, back to my bride and I, we married 15 years, met her 20 years ago. We talk sometimes about our first date and it's, you know, how cute it was and whatever. But I didn't put all the weight on that. For actually, truth be told, I don't know if I shared this with the public before. We talked and she said, yeah, after the first day, I was like, yeah, I don't know. That guy's okay. I don't think he's really my cup of tea. Right. So, and here we are. I think if I put all the pressure onto that first day, it was like, she's got to marry me on this date, or if she doesn't, something's gone wrong. Like, I'd be a single man or married to some other, human at this point. We do the same thing with walking in. Like, nothing's going to happen right on that date. Unless I did something crazy, she wasn't going to be like, there's no way this guy's going to marry me. And she wasn't going to marry me. It was only, well, we have a second date. And that's literally it. Right. So when we go into the commercial, like, yeah, 1 in 1,000, someone might go, oh my God, I just fired him. Can you please give me a bit? Yeah. But it's in 1 in 1,000, you meet and go to Vegas and marry that night and stay married 50 years, right? I'm not saying it never happens, but that's not how we're going to tell our kids to plan our lives. And it's not going to tell you to plan your client acquisition strategy. So just the whole thing is building a relationship, right? It's fun with my wife or any date I went on because I'm not trying to marry. I'm just trying to get to know them, and it will or it won't. It'll be fine. Like, we're just going to enjoy each other's company. And if we like it, we'll enjoy some more at another point. It'll be fine. Right. So we just got to go into the same thing with the commercial. Like, you hate walking in because you think you got to sell them something. Like, can I do this? Can I give you a bit? Like, you're not going to sell. With me, I wasn't like, so talk to me about marriage. I was just selling them like, let's just enjoy each other's company, right? Like, it'd be weird. But then we walk into a building and go, can you tell me who's in charge of commercial client shop? Like, and then it's just a creepy, weird thing when you're just like, if anything, I'd be honest about it. Like, hey, obviously I'm going to try and sell somebody something at some point, but I'm too scared and I don't even know what the heck's going on. So you just give me Steve's name or whoever does that so I can run away, hide, and maybe send him a gift later. Like, just be honest. And just, if Steve's there, you go, hi, Steve, I'm Mike. I have a commercial cleaning company. I'm sure you get 1,000 people and you hate them all and you probably are cleaning with your nephew, but I'm still just want to say hi and I'm going to leave now and run away. It's fine. If you just do that 27 times where Steve's like, oh, hey, Steve, it's Mike. How you doing, man? Better if you're a lady. I think you ladies probably a little bit of advantage than us fellas, but that's a different, you work with what you got, right? So the big thing I would say to our friend is you don't have to walk in if you don't want to. There is no single thing there is a single thing. It's to build a relationship. So there's a dozen ways to skin that cat. Some people are like, we like sending lumpy mail just because it makes you welcome, right? It's a funny thing with a little gift. And when they read it and even then, walk in, you call. And then when you call, you say, can I bring it? So it's in stages, right? So the reality is with residential, average client might be $400 a month and you might get them in 7 hours. It just like, oh, you booked, it's done. A commercial client, sometimes you'll get one within a month, but it's unusual, right? So say it takes 6 months, but it's a $3,500 a month contract. And so they say 8 years. Well, that's like $500,000, right? So if it takes 6 months, like, we're just going to have to be okay. I understand you don't have to be okay with it, but you'd be served too. So that's my big meta thing. Is it's all about relationships. It's so funny. I get commercial people like, I'm not really good at sales. I just, I'm more of a relationship guy, so I'm a little concerned I won't be able to do this. I'm like, that's all you don't have to sell. Honestly, we teach our clients sales. It's almost exclusively for the residential because you're in a short conversation. You need to have the ability to help someone understand their pain. Make a decision to change it and take action. Like, that's a skill set. With commercial, it's just building relationship. If I had a cleaning company and Lindsay owned a building, like, I would just sell her anything. She'd be like, oh my gosh, Mike, I need cleaning. Can you help me? Yeah, sure. And then I'd give her a price and she would just assume, because she knows me, that it's a fair price. And because I know her and like her, it's going to be a fair price. And like, there would be no like, that's it. So like, how would you sell Lindsay? I'm like, I wouldn't. We have a relationship. I would just tell her I have the thing that she wants. And she'd be like, I want that thing. Will you sell it to me? I'm like, yeah, done and done. So it's really his relationship. It does take a minute. If you want to sell, commercial is not the place for it. You just really build relationships. We want them to buy what we want to sell, but they want to buy when they're ready to buy. And the cool thing is, when they're ready to buy, you don't have to sell. They're just going to go to whatever relationship they have. And that's going to be that, right? And if they don't have a relationship, then it's going to go to God dang it, RFQ, RFP, request for proposal, request for quotation. It's going to be a cattle call. There'll be 5 or 10 people, and they'll suck. It's going to be a low price thing. Or he already has a relationship with one dude or gal that's going to get it. This is all just the show. So long story short is, you can buy lists, get on RFP list and go and blah, blah. But the real thing is you just pick the 50 or 100 people you really want to become clients with over time, and you love on them and you spend time and you build a real honest to goodness relationship. It's not easy, but it's very simple, right? It's simple. All right. I think, I know we try and get more questions and I got too fired up. Anything to add to that before we call it, Lindsay?
No, I just wanted to tell a quick story. I won't mention the client's name, but I remember she's just a tiny little lady out in California, and she's got a commercial business, and she was always nervous about talking to men or like not selling, but like developing relationships. Like she's like, oh, I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm part of the boys club. And I remember you saying something at the event to the fact of just be yourself. Like everyone loves you as you are.
I know who you're talking about. And the funny thing about her is because there's some people that are female or male, they're just a little more introverted. Yeah. And is such a sweet, like everybody loves her. She loves everybody and all clients love her. So here's last thing I'll give you. The funny thing is, once you break that ice, it's super easy because I know exactly what you're talking about. Every one of our clients and us love her. It's the new people, right? But when she and I had just met, there was a point where she probably was uncomfortable. I mean, she didn't know me that well, right? But then we spent some time together. And she's like, oh, I love Mike and I love her because we spent time. So it's literally just, I'm uncomfortable doing that first half hour. And again, it's like an hour. And you might do that 5 minutes a time over many times or over a lunch, or like it can be lots of things. But once you spend a bit with someone, you're like, I know that guy. And then you move into, oh, I love Lindsay. That's not so. I just get to go bring her food and say hi. Like that's a part of my day. It doesn't become sales at all. But when Lindsay's a stranger, it's weird. That's what, again, part of the reason we recommend you all can do this on your own, lumpy mail, right? So just a postcard or something's not going to build a relationship. A sales letter is not going to build a relationship. When you have a really interesting piece with like we send a little foot, a little handcuff, just goofy, weird stuff. So when you go be like, you're the dude that sent me the foot. I was wondering, that's crazy, man. Like, and it just kind of gets you over that, like first, who's this weirdo to like, this is a weirdo I want to talk to because I'm very curious as to what's going on there. So lots and lots of ways you can kind of break the ice with, you can hold an event, you can go to industry events, you can send them something first, you can certainly call, you can bring them food. Just again, if the goal is to, again, if I go on a date and I'm like, I'm going to sell you on why you should marry me in 3 easy points. Let's go. Are you the decision maker? Gets a little weird. When I say, let's just hang out and do some golfing or watch a movie or whatever the case may be, it's like, cool. And then at the end of that, I'm like, that was kind of a cool person. And she's like, ideally, that's kind of cool. And then we just move on with our lives. And the cool thing is with dating, she's like, that's not a great guy. That might be the end of the date, right? With Lindsay, she works there. We're not looking, she's not going to have a disqualified, unless I kick her in the face or something. She's probably just going to have she's going to have a 0, which is the worst case, which is like, that dude was fine. Don't really care. Or that guy was nice. But there's not going to be, you're not going to go in and like say something to offend them. Like it'll be 0, be it a positive. And if you have enough interactions, they get comfortable, it'll be a positive for sure. As long as you're not a psychopath. So have fun, be yourself. If this sounds like a lot, you're like, I need some god dang help with all this stuff, feel free to reach out. Like, I don't know, Instagram, Grow My Cleaning Company, or whatever. Grow My Cleaning Company. Check us out. We're here to help. Talk soon. See you.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.